Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason and this is a short chronic pain relief hypnosis session just for you. And I try and do these every day if I can. Basically what these are different ways in order for you to maybe view the chronic pain that you might have in a different way, just viewing it differently. Because there's a theory, and I'll just talk to you, and some of the sessions I do will be specifically step, do this, do that, do this, do that, and a technique that you can use. Others will be just me talking. Only ever watch or listen to these videos when you can safely close your eyes, and also check with a doctor before you the cause of your pain before you reduce the pain by listening to my voice or looking at my funny beard. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, if you close your eyes, remember there might be background sounds, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need it to be quiet. We don't need it to be silent, because actually hearing things it helps to stimulate the brain. So if you're listening to me, in some ways having background sounds could be positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk to you about the ideas that I was talking about at the beginning, and the idea that actually the chronic pain that you have or that you've had in the past, it can change. It can reduce by viewing it in a different way. The same way people say that, psychologists say that we all view things differently. So if 100 people watch this video, and you all might notice something different. One of you might notice my beard, one of you might notice my glasses, one of you might notice how similar I look to George Clooney, and some of you might just think, oh, what a velvety voice. Other people might think that I sound like Rod Stewart. I don't know. So, or Marge Simpson, who knows? But we see things differently. We view things differently. But that's not just between different people. We also do the same thing ourselves, dependent upon what mood we're in, or how we feel. So, for example, if I use myself as an example, actually. If I'm a moody person, I'll admit that. I have bipolar, so I do very, very moody person. So if I'm having a moody day where the mood's very low, and somebody jumps in a queue in a supermarket in front of me, I'm not best pleased, if I'm honest. I do react internally. I don't generally, sometimes I react outside, but generally it's inside. But if I'd just met somebody that I really liked and arranged to have a first date, or just had a first date and arranged to have a second date, or just been out for a lovely dinner for the first time, something nice like that, or just had sex for the first time with that person, whatever it is, and I was standing in that queue and that same person jumped in front of the queue, I wouldn't care. It just wouldn't bother me at all. And it's the same event. You're experiencing the same thing. There's no difference in that. The only difference is how you're viewing it. There's no difference, and I'm sorry if I'm, by mentioning the idea of me being romantic, hopefully that hasn't put you off your hypnotic dinner of delights. You see things differently. And when you see things differently, you can't forget that you see it differently. Does that make sense? It's a weird one. It's kind of like if I told you that there was a goldfish underneath your bed. Yeah, just a goldfish. You're not going to forget it. You're going to remember it's there, aren't you? The same way as if you're carrying your shopping from the supermarket and you've got eggs in your bag. Generally, you're going to remember you've got eggs in your bag. Even though you've still got the same old crap going on around in your head as you normally do. But that one thing is, you know, you need to be careful. There's eggs there. How often do parents forget to pick their children up from school? They remember because it's there, it's important, it's something they remember. So once you know to do something, once you know something, it's hard to forget it. If you told me that in my kitchen there's a crocodile, I'm not going to be going in there. Nothing you do is going to let me forget that there's a crocodile in that kitchen. Would be an unusual new song, Crocodile in My Kitchen. I'll view it differently. I'll view the kitchen differently. I'll view the situation differently. And I won't forget it. It doesn't mean anything really. All it means is I've seen it differently. Or once you have seen it differently, that view is there. You've still got choices. You know, I'm not controlling your mind. You still have choices. What you can't choose though is to forget. You can't, you know, if there was a feeling that you had in your body and just by talking or just listening to me, and that feeling is reduced and you become more comfortable, you're never going to forget that. The fact that you, just by thinking about something a little bit differently, it changes your perception. It changes how you feel. Because it's worth remembering that, you know, I might have bash my finger, my little finger. I might bash the fingernail, and it feels like it's the feelings in my fingernail. It's not in my fingernail. It's in my brain. It's just my brain stimulated. That nerve ending has stimulated my brain. There are ways of reducing that traffic down those signals. It has to start in the brain. So sometimes just by giving yourself permission to realise that actually you do have more control than you realise about how you feel and about what you can actually do, especially with things like physical sensations. In some ways they're the easiest things to change once you take away the emotional content of it. It's the only reason physical issues are an issue. I'm talking about things like pain, things like just getting older, those kind of things. I don't mean serious diseases or anything like that, although the way you cope with those things will also become easier if you see things different. So we've only had 10 minutes to really talk about this, but let me know how you feel. Bye.